I hope screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, beta. So this is partial derivatives, second unit. In this chapter, we will be covering the following topics: function of several variables, limit and continuity, then partial differentiation, Euler's theorem, tangent and normal, partial derivative of composite and implicit function, total derivatives, error and approximation, Jacobian with properties, Taylor series, Maclaurin series, maxima and minima, and last is Lagrange method of undetermined multiplier. So these are the topics which we cover under this unit, partial derivatives and its application. Right? Till now, you have done y is a function of x. Right now, we have done y is a function of x. Then we find the derivative of y with respect to x. Right? And then there are some rule u into v rule, u by v rule. Right? You need to remember all that rules, right, for dealing with partial differentiation, because it is following the same rule. But what is the difference? Today we will discuss that difference. So my first topic is function of several variable. But before moving to several variable, we will start with function of two variables. Function of two variables. We know that we write that y is a function of x. If I'm writing area of a circle, what is the area of a circle? Yes, beta?
Pi r
Pi r
square.
square.
Pi r square.
Right. Area of circle is pi r square. So this area depends on what? This area depends on what?
Ma'am, radius of the circle.
Radius of circle. Because this phi is fixed, it will remain as it is. Area will depend only r. So can I say that area is a function of one variable, that is radius? Right? So this is a function of single variable, that is r. Now, tell me, what is the area of rectangle? Area of rectangle? Yes.
Length into breadth.
Length into breadth.
And length into breadth.
Yes, length into breadth. So can you tell me, now area depends upon what? Length as well as breadth, right? Now area depends upon length as well as breadth. So can I say that this area is a function of length and breadth? And for here, I'm writing area is a function of r. Is it clear? Is it right, beta? Here function area is depending on only on radius, single variable. So I'm saying that in this function, area is a function of one independent variable, that is r. A is dependent variable and r is independent variable. So this is independent variable. When I'm talking about this, area is equal to length into breadth. In case of this, area is a function of two independent variable. In this, A is dependent variable and length and breadth both are independent variable. So area is a function of two independent variable, that is L and B. Is it clear? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Similarly, you can take any example. Let us take a real life example. Example of crop production. ठीक है? हमें क्या करना है? Crop का production चाहिए. Now, what factors affect this crop production? क्या क्या फैक्टर्स अफेक्ट कर सकते हैं इस क्रॉप प्रोडक्शन को? टेल मी एनीवन.
water,
वाटर सप्लाई, ठीक है.
sunlight,
One. Okay, sunlight. Or can I say natural things? It may be rain, it may be sunlight.
Soil.
Okay. Soil quality, right? And any more?
Ma'am, time we can say. Temperature.
Sorry, beta.
Ma'am, can we say time
Temperature.
also?
No, time is
Fertilizer.
not the fertilizer. Good. Yes. Anything else? Okay. I'm adding one thing. Seed quality. Right? So crop production depends upon, you told me, water, water supply, another natural thing, it may be natural rainwater or sunlight. Third is quality of soil, next fertilizer, and next seed quality. See, what is the basic behind the partial derivative? Partial means part. Partial means part. Abhi, we have done this. Y is a function of x. It means if you change, you do some change in x, the corresponding there would be change in y. And you can find that change with the dy upon dx. Right? But now we are dealing with what? Function of more than one variable. This we discussed function of two variable. And now, a real life example, I'm saying that crop production is a function of water supply, natural things, soil quality, fertilizer, and seed quantity. Now, I just want to check. I want to check effect of seed quality on crop production. तो मुझे क्या करना होगा? सी, अगर मुझे सीड का डिफरेंस देखना है, ओनली फॉर द सीड डिफरेंस, तो बाकी सारे फैक्टर्स क्या होने चाहिए? दैट मस्ट बी सेम. Am I right now? If I'm changing only seed quality, let us try one crop production with one type of seed, keeping all the things same. And then second time, I want to see the change in crop production with second type of seed quality. I can recognize the difference only when fertilizer, soil, water, and natural things would be same. Then only can I differentiate ki whether the seed quantity or seed quality affecting your crop production or not. Am I right? Are you getting my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Similarly, now you are observing ki because of seed, you are not observing any change in crop production. It means either you can use type 1 seed or type 2 seed, doesn't matter. Means quality is good. Right? And then you are again observing ki there is no increment of crop production. So maybe we are not using the good quality of fertilizer. So what you are doing? You are observing change in the crop production due to change in fertilizer. So what you will do? In that case, you will change the fertilizer, keeping rest of the thing as it is. Right? Similarly with the soil quality and so on. So what is the partial? Means this function depends upon various factors. And when I'm telling you how to find the partial derivative, so I will tell you, let us, u is a function of x comma y. So you cannot change, you cannot see the change in u due to change in x or y. दोनों को change कर देंगे तो you cannot observe कि u में जो change आ रहा है वो किसकी वजह से आ रहा है. So at a time, what will we do? We can find partial derivative of u with respect to x. And when we find partial derivative of u with respect to x, we keep y constant. Right? We keep y constant because जब मुझे crop production का effect दिखना था due to seed, तो आप क्या कर रहे थे? You are keeping all other factors as it is. So while evaluating this partial derivative of u with respect to x, you will keep y as it is. And similarly, while evaluating uy, we will keep x as it is. Right? Just keep this idea in your mind. I'll explain it again when we'll be finding partial differentiation. Right? So partial means part because function depends upon more than variable. So that is why you are saying partial differentiation, because you are observing with respect to one variable, keeping all other constant, right? Now let us have this function of several variable. I have given you this example, crop production. We have taken this four factor. So I can say that crop production is a function of four variables, right? Now come to the definition of function of two variable, formal definition. Before start to this, y is a function of x. You all know about y is a function of x. So how you define? You take one is your x-axis, another is your y-axis, right? There are some x and there are some y. And f is what? This is a rule which assign a unique value for each and every x belongs to this capital X. This is the definition of function. There is a unique y corresponding to for all x belongs to capital X. So this is your function of single variable. In this, what is the domain? Domain is only x-axis. You write it like this, na? This is your x-axis is whole domain and this y is your range. Right? Now, function of two variable. I am writing z is a function of two variable, x comma y. In this, your input would be what? In doublet, x1, y1, pair, x2, y2. Likewise, xn, yn. And this is a set having value z1, z2, and so on up to zn. Now again, f is a rule which assign a unique value corresponding to each pair belonging to this set is known as function of two variable. What is the difference? In this, your domain is only x-axis. What is this? In this, your domain is xy plane. This complete xy plane is your domain. Let us say this is the point x1 comma y1. This is your x2 comma y2. So this complete would be the domain in function of two variable. And what is the range? Means what is the output? This is your x-axis, this is your y-axis. And above that means इस point पर आप एक vertical line लगा दोगे, that would be your z-axis, right? So that would be your range. So what is the difference between function of single variable and two variable? In single variable, domain would be your x-axis, and in function of two variable, domain would be xy plane, right? Now, a function of two variable x and y is a rule that assign a number f of x comma y, that means this z, to each point x comma y in a portion or all xy plane, right? For example, z is a function of x comma y. Z is equal to 2x square plus 2y square minus of 4. So z is a function of x and y. You are putting the values of x and y. Let us say I'm putting x0, y0. First doublet, first pair, x0, y0. So z would be what? Minus of 4. Similarly, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, whatever in your xy plane, you'll be having so many points. You can put it here and then you will get the corresponding value of z. And when you will draw it, it will represent it like this. It will appear like this. This is what? It is a paraboloid. In 2 dimension, this is a parabola, and in 3 dimension, it becomes paraboloid. And elliptic, because of its shape, it is elliptic paraboloid. Okay? This is what? This is 3 dimension now. You are putting x value, y value corresponding, you are getting z value. So if you are talking about this point on the surface, so it is what? X, y, and z. So it is 3 dimensional, right? And z is equal to f x comma y. geometrically represent a surface in three-dimensional. Right? In your house, you use a bowl. Bowl is a three-dimensional thing, no? So that is again a surface of bowl. Right? So Z is a function of two variable and geometrically that represents surface. Keep it in mind, Z is equal to f of x comma y. It is a function of two variable and geometrically it represents surface. Right? Till now, any doubt? Is it clear? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, when you have done this y is a function of x in one variable, okay, we will go parallelly. Okay, what you have done in the one variable, we will do the same thing in two variable. So we have discussed y is a function of single variable, and here we have discussed z is a function of two variable. Now, after function, come to the limit, and after limit we come to the continuity, and after continuity we come to the derivability. Same we will follow in the function of two variable. But before to start for two variable, just recall your limit in function of single variable. Can anybody tell me how you can check the existence of limit in function of single variable? Yes, bache, anyone? How you check or how you say that ki limit exists or limit does not exist? Yes, Satvik?
If left hand limit is zero, right hand limit, then it exists.
Right, very good, beta. Good. See, in this function, your domain is what? X-axis. So, हमारा domain है x-axis. Now, I'm saying that x approaches to point, let's say, x naught. I am saying that this is point of x naught. I need to approach on x naught. So, how do I approach? I can approach either this way or this way. Right? So, what will we do? We found left hand limit and then right hand limit. We write like limit x approaches to x naught plus f of x and limit x approaches to x naught minus f of x. Or you can write like that x plus h or x minus h. Because we do have domain in x-axis, so we can move either left or either right. So you find the left hand limit and right hand limit. If both are equal, then you say that limit exists, otherwise limit does not exist. Right? Now, come to the two variable. In now, two variable, your domain is complete xy plane. Complete xy plane is your domain. So I'm saying this x comma y approaches to this a comma b. There was x approaches to x naught. Here is what? Limit. Your input is in pair. So xy. So xy would approach to a comma b. Means x is approaches to a and y is approaches to b. Right? Now, I can approach from one point to another way. Another point, there are several ways. There are many ways. So how does I say the limit exists? If you are getting same value of limit along each and every path, then only you will say that limit exists, otherwise does not exist. Because in x, on x-axis, whereas a single axis, you can move either left or right. But in this xy domain, there may be multiple paths for moving from this point to this point. Let us say I want to move from x to a. So I will move like this. Let us say this is your x point and this is your a point. So I will move like this. Horizontally move and then vertical move. right? And other way I can move like this. This is, first I'm moving vertically. Let us say this point is B, and then I can move horizontally. So there are two paths. I'm considering abhi two paths. This first horizontal, then vertical. And other way, I can go first vertical, then horizontal. So if you are considering two paths, right? Or there exist two paths to approach from XY point to A comma B, then limit across along the both path should be same. If it is same, then limit exists. If it does not same, it means limit does not exist. Right? So if your point, if this point is origin, then there are infinite many points. And if this is other than origin, then you will consider probably two path only. We will discuss it in question, right? So this was your basic about how to find the limit for function of two variable. Now I'm giving you the mathematical definition of limit. A function f of two variable whose domain includes point arbitrarily close to a comma b. As x comma y approaches to a comma b, f of x comma y approaches to L. So I'll write like this: limit x comma y approaches to a comma b. This is f of x comma y that will approach to L. Right? X approaches to a, y approaches to b, then value of this function will approaches to limit, that is L. So we write it like this: x comma y approaches to a comma b, f of x comma y is equal to L. For every member epsilon greater than 0, there is a corresponding number delta greater than 0 such that this xy belongs to your domain and the distance from xy to a comma b. This distance must be less than delta greater than 0. Then f of x comma y minus L modulus would be less than epsilon. Epsilon is very, very small number, but that is positive number. This is a mathematical definition of limit. We can represent the limit in this way also: x approaches to a, y approaches to b, f of x comma y is equal to L, or f of x comma y approaches to L as xy approaches to ab. So this way, or this way. You can represent the limit in any of this way. See, this is represent what? Distance between this value and L value. And this is what? It is the distance between point x comma y and a comma b. I have already told you. This is the same thing. In one variable you do left hand limit, right hand limit. If they are not equal, then limit does not exist, right? If they are equal, then limit exists. In double variable function, you can approach to one point through infinite many direction, but along the each and every path, if you're getting the same value, then only limit exists. Otherwise, limit does not exist, right? Same thing what I have told you. If limit exists, then function x comma y must approach to the same limit no matter how xy approaches to ab. Same thing. Now, let us have one example. Show that limit x comma y approaches to 0, 0. X square minus of y square upon x square plus y square. Now the point xy approaches to 0, 0. This is your x-axis and this is your y-axis. And this is the point x comma y. Right? And this point is approaches to 0, 0. So what is 0, 0? This is 0, 0. Right? So what I'm doing, from this point to like this, I'm coming down this point to this point. So at this point, what are the coordinates of this point? X, comma, 0. Because on x-axis y is 0. So from this point, you are coming at this point, and then you will move like this. And ultimately, you are at point origin. Let us say this is your path 1, right? If Shivansh said, ki ma'am, I'm not going to this way. Okay? So I just want to go first horizontal and then vertical. Do it like that. Now I'm moving first horizontally. Horizontally means along x-axis. So this is your y-axis. At y, x coordinate would be 0. So this point would be 0, comma, y. Right? And then I'm moving toward this vertically. Means first horizontal and then vertical. And you are reaching at this point. So I'm saying this is your path 2. Right? Can I move directly along a straight line? Can I move directly from xy point to 0, 0 along the path y is equal to mx? Yes or no? Tell me, beta. Can I move directly from xy point to 0, 0 through the path y is equal to mx? Yes or no? Yes or no, beta? क्या हम मूव कर सकते हैं एक्स वाई से 0, 0 along this line? See beta, whenever your point is approaches to something, so what you will do, you will be putting this. If x is 0, then in that path y must be 0 and this point must be satisfied by this line. So if I'm saying x approaches to 0, then obviously y would approach to 0. Am I right? Yes or no, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
है ना? So is there any more possibility? Any other possibility? Okay. Can I move like this? Like this, like a parabola form. And parabola, I'm writing y is equal to mx square. Does this point will satisfy this? If x is equal to 0, then y would be 0. Yes or no? Yes or
ma'am.
no?
Yes, ma'am.
No. Similarly, if I'm saying y is equal to mx cube, then again it is possible. So in short, to move from this point to origin, there are infinite many points. Sorry, infinite many paths. Right? And along each and every path, if you are getting the same value, then we can say limit exists, otherwise limit does not exist. This is the possibility in case of origin. If I'm saying ki x comma y approaches to 1 comma 2, right? So I cannot use this, right? Y is equal to mx. So if x is 1, y must approach to 2. That depends upon this m only. For a fixed m, you can use this. है ना? अगर x को 1 को अप्रोच कर रहा है तो y को 2 अप्रोच करने के लिए इस m को क्या होना पड़ेगा? 2 होना पड़ेगा. Then only y would be 2. But in case of origin, irrespective of the slope, you can use any path. It would be satisfied. कि x 0 है तो y 0 होगा. So you have to remember that if this is the point is origin, then you need to check several paths. And if it is a point other than 0, 0, then you will be checking only two paths. This one path and this second path. Is it clear? If yes, then only I will discuss this question. If not, then I'll repeat the same thing. Now tell me, are you getting my point? Should I repeat it? Yes or no
मैम
बेटा?
रिपीट कर दे एक बार.
हाँ, तो ऐसे नहीं समझ आया then ask it बेटा. देखो, it is clear now, when we are dealing with the x-axis, so we can move either left or right. So we do have only two options. That is why we go by left hand limit and right hand limit. But अभी हमारा डोमेन क्या है? Complete xy plane. ये xy plane है आपका, पूरा का पूरा डोमेन है. मेरा ये वाला पॉइंट 0 0 जाता है. कोई xy पॉइंट है, इसको अप्रोच करना है किस पे? 0 0 पे. तो मैंने क्या कहा कि ये 0 0 डायरेक्टली एक लाइन के थ्रू भी जा सकता है. y इज इक्वल टू एक्स स्क्वायर से भी जाएगा, y इज इक्वल टू एक्स क्यूब से भी चला जाएगा, y इज इक्वल टू एक्स की पावर 4 से भी चला जाएगा, राइट ना? why? Because if I'm using y is equal to mx, तो irrespective of this value, if x is approaches to 0, y would definitely approach to 0, because this point 0 0. If I'm taking y is equal to mx square, तो आप क्या करते हो? If I'm putting x is equal to 0, तो ultimately y would be 0. So I can approach to this point either this path or this path, or y is equal to mx cube, mx4, and so on. And like this also, first I am moving vertically, then horizontally, again horizontally and vertically. So if your point is approaches to 0 0, so there are infinite many paths. Now let us having this your x comma y, and this point is your 1 comma 2. अभी now एक्स वाई इज अप्रोचेस टू 1 comma 2, that is other than 0 0. तो मुझे क्या करना है? It is possible first I'll move like this. When I'm coming to this downward direction, तो मैंने कहाँ तक आना है? When you are getting this y is 2, because vertically I'm downing, so this x would be same and y would be 2, right? And then you need to move like this, because ultimately you need to approach this point, na? So I'm moving like this, and at this point x would become 1 comma 2. You have reached this point. This is your path 1. First we are moving along y axis, then we are moving along x axis. Other way is possibility. If I'm moving like horizontally, so this is what, ये वाला point आपका क्या है? 1 at x axis. So it is become 1 comma y, right? And then you will move vertically. तो y क्या, x तो already 1 पे पहुंच चुका था, और y किस पे चला गया? अब 2 पे चला गया. Is it right? If point is other than 0 0, then basically you have two paths only, vertically, horizontally. Other way, first horizontally, then vertically. But abhi main, if I'm saying I want to move that mx square, so will it satisfy this point? 1 comma 2, if I'm putting x is equal to 1, so are you getting y is 2? No, you are getting y is equal to m. So to get 2, this slope should be equal to 2. But that is a particular path, right? So there is no benefit to put m is equal to 2 only, right? But when I'm putting this, so this is irrespective of m. m की कुछ भी value हो, x 0 को approach करेगा, तो y भी 0 को approach करेगा. So in case of origin, you have multiple path, infinite many path. And if you are approaching xy to other than point, other than origin, then you need to check only 2 paths. Am I clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now come to the solution of this question. As I told you, we will check path 1, path 2 in case of origin, then path 3, and so on. So first we will follow path 1. Path 1 means limit x approaches to 0, limit y approaches to 0. X square minus y square upon x square plus y square. This is your first path. First y approaches to 0 and then x approaches to 0. Another path, limit y approaches to 0, limit x approaches to 0, x square minus y square, x square plus y square. तो पाथ हो गए. First we are putting y approaches to 0 and then x approaches to 0. Now you need to evaluate it. Limit y approaches to 0, तो आपने क्या करना है, y की जगह 0 पुट कर दिया आपने. Right? Now what it would become, x square upon x square, and that would be cancel out. So value of this limit would be 1. Simple, put the limit. Now in another way, limit x approaches to 0, so this would be 0 and this would be 0. What is left? Minus y square upon y square, so you'll be cancel out, and what is left? That is minus 1. So when you are moving along this way, value of limit is 1. When you are moving along this way, value of limit is minus 1. Now tell me, does limit exist?
No, ma'am.
No. Why not?
No,
No,
ma'am.
Why
ma'am.
not? Why not?
Ma'am, because ma'am, मैं equal नहीं है ma'am.
Yes, because along two path, you are getting two different values. So this means limit does not exist. Right? अगर इसी step पे limit does not exist, then there is no need to check more path. But in case of origin, if you are getting the same value along these path, then we will check third one, that is y is equal to mx or y is equal to mx square. We'll discuss in next question, right? So Abhi, I'll show the solution. If you are still having any doubt, then you can ask me. So function is x square minus y square, x square plus y square. You need to find out this limit x comma y approaches to 0, 0. So first path I'm taking limit y approaches to 0, limit x approaches to 0. So first we solve this. While solving this, you are putting y is equal to 0. So you have put this 0, 0. Limit x approaches to 0, but while solving it is 1, probably x should not equal to 0. Now, f of x comma y approaches to 1 as xy approaches to 0, 0. Another path. Now, in this case, we are taking first x approaches to 0 and then limit y approaches to 0. So while evaluating this, you are putting x is equal to 0 over here. So it becomes minus y square upon y square. It would be cancel out, and that is minus 1, provided y exactly not equal to 0. So now, when you are taking this, value is 1. When you are taking this, value is minus 1. So hence, limit does not exist. Along two path, you are getting different values. So limit does not exist. Right? Now, come to the next. If function f of x comma y is equal to x into y upon x square plus y square, does limit x comma y approaches to 0 fxy exist? Now you try it yourself. I'm giving 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. Just try it, either right or wrong. Just try it and let me know what you are getting so that your mistake we can discuss here right now. Try it. First, I have told you, you will write like this, limit x approaches to 0, limit y approaches to 0, xy upon x square plus y square. First, calculate this. Another path, y approaches to 0, limit x approaches to 0, xy upon x square plus y square. First, evaluate these. Then we will move further. Solve it, this and this.
I'm both answer for the both the answer is 0.
Both are 0. Okay. Anyone else?
Yes, ma'am. It's zero.
Okay. Okay. 1 more minute is there. Find out. Those who have done it, try for this. Put y is equal to mx. When you are putting y is equal to mx, your function would become a single variable, that is x only, and then solve it. Try it. No problem. I'll discuss it. बाकी बच्चे जब कर लेंगे लिमिट, प्लीज लेट मी नो 5 or 6 students at least. Are they getting the 0 or something else? Priya, are you doing this, beta? Riya? Riya, are you there, beta? Shivansh? Shivansh? Utkarsh? 5030?
यस मैम.
किया बच्चे?
नहीं मैम अभी कर रहा हूँ, मुझे थोड़ा टाइम लग रहा है.
बच्चे ज्यादा टाइम नहीं लगाना. See, simply you need to put y is equal to 0. So this become what? 0 into something is what? 0. 0 into something is 0. 0 divided by x square plus 0. So 0 divided by x square, that is not exactly 0. 0 divided by something is 0. Okay, let us solve it. Now see it here, beta, carefully. You need to solve this. In this function, x into y upon x square plus y square. Niharika, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you done it, beta?
Yes, ma'am.
Answer is what?
Ma'am, 0.
Okay. Ishita?
Yes, ma'am.
Same, 0?
It's 0.
Okay. Isha,
Yes, ma'am.
have you solved it?
Yes, ma'am. Answer is same 0.
Same, 0. Okay. Now, let us see, beta. Limit y approaches to 0, x into y upon x square plus y square. So when you are evaluating this, तो आपने क्या करना है? You will be putting y is 0. So 0 into x is completely, it would become 0. Divided by, ये cancel हो जाएगा because you are solving it, x square plus 0. Right? So 0 divided by something, it would become 0. तो आपने आंसर बोला इसको, that is equal to 0. Similarly, in case of this, limit x approaches to 0, x into something is 0. And 0 plus something is same value, y square. 0 divided by something is 0. So it would become 0 in both ways. Then I asked you, along these both path, you are getting value 0 and 0. Then we will check another path, y is equal to mx. Right? So in our this function, we will be putting y is equal to mx. So it become limit y is equal to mx and x approaches to 0. Because if x approaches to 0, y would ultimately approach to 0. And this x into m into x upon x square plus y square. It means m square into x square. Right? So now x square into m upon x square 1 plus m square, right? And this would be cancel out. Limit x approaches to 0. Is it right, beta? We are taking this path, y is equal to mx. So limit y is equal to mx, x approaches to 0. Your function is x into y. So this x into m into x, and then x square plus y square. So x square plus m square x square. So you are simplifying it. It is x square, say x square cancel out. So what is left? M upon 1 plus m square. Is it right? Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So what does it mean? Limit exists or does not exist?
Ma'am, does
Limit does not exist. Why?
exist?
Because it depends upon value of m, right? For existence of limit, it must be 0 irrespective of value of m, right? So when you are putting y is equal to mx, y is equal to mx square, mx cube, when you are putting one or two path, na, you can observe it, whether we are getting same value or not. So in this case, we are getting different value. So it means limit does not exist. Right? Let us have the solution. Directly you're putting y is equal to mx, right? And limit x approaches to 0, x mx, x square plus mx square is equal to m upon 1 plus m square. Depends upon value of m, hence limit does not exist. Right? Any doubt, beta? Any question?
मैम मैं इसमें एक्स वाई अप्रोचेस टू 1,1 तो मैम वाई इज इक्वल टू एम एक्स पाथ में एग्जिस्ट करेगा?
नहीं करेगा ना बेटा, y इज इक्वल टू एम एक्स है, ठीक है? अगर x y को अप्रोच कर रहा है तो y को भी 1 को अप्रोच करना है, तो उसके लिए m को भी क्या होना पड़ेगा? m को फिक्स होना पड़ेगा ना, कि m की वैल्यू 1 होनी चाहिए, तभी पॉइंट सेटिस्फाई करेगा ना।
ओके मैम नहीं मैं पिछले क्वेश्चन की बात कर रहा हूँ जब मैम हमने मैम एक्स वाई अप्रोच टू में 0,0 किया था तो मैम सारे पाथ फॉलो हो रहे थे वाई इज इक्वल टू एम एक्स वाई इज इक्वल टू एम एक्स स्क्वायर मैम
हो रहे थे
उस
ना, हर पाथ में वैल्यू 0 आ रही थी ना।
यस मैम
इसमें तो आई नहीं बच्चे, कौन सा क्वेश्चन अभी हमने किया नहीं वो क्वेश्चन शायद। इसमें डज नॉट एग्जिस्ट आई ना, यहाँ तो पहले में ही गड़बड़ हो गई ना, यहाँ पे 1 आया और अगले पाथ में -1 आया, तो लिमिट डज नॉट एग्जिस्ट हुई,
यस
है ना।
ओके मैम यस मैम
तो अलग चीज है बच्चे, ये हमारे क्वेश्चन का ही पार्ट था कि दो पाथ हमने फॉलो करने थे। एक बार ये वाला पाथ, लिमिट y अप्रोचेस टू 0, मतलब पहले वी आर पुटिंग y 0 एंड देन x 0, और अगले
ओके
पाथ में x 0 y 0। ये पाथ आपने तभी चेक करना है जब आपका पॉइंट ओरिजिन पे अप्रोच कर रहा है।
ओके मैम
उसका रीजन मैंने आपको बताया। अगर मैं ये पुट लेती हूँ y इज इक्वल टू एम एक्स, ये मैं क्यों ले रही हूँ? बिकॉज अगर x 0 को अप्रोच कर रहा है ना बेटा, तो y भी डेफिनेटली 0 को अप्रोच करेगा, इररिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ वैल्यू ऑफ दिस m की कुछ भी वैल्यू हो, है ना। अगर x 0 है तो अल्टीमेटली y 0 हो जाएगा ना।
यस मैम
ऐसे ही मैं अगर इस पाथ की बात करूं तो इसमें भी सेम होगा, x अगर 0 है तो y भी 0 होगा। तो इसलिए to approach from xy to origin, there are infinite many paths. Then you need to check whether you are getting the same value or not. In
ओके
this
मैम
question, in this question, when you have done this path, first we are taking x approaches to, y approaches to 0, xy upon x square plus y square. So in that case, you are getting value 0. Another path, when you took y0, limit x approaches to 0, xy upon x square plus y square, again you are getting the value same. But when this is the case of origin, after checking these path, if you are getting this 0, 0, then you need to check next path. See,
Okay,
here you
ma'am.
are getting the same value, but when you put y is equal to mx, it dependent upon m. It is not equal to 0. So that is why limit does not exist.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any other doubt? Chalo. Next question. Evaluate this limit. Limit xy approaches to 5 comma 1 xy upon x plus y. Evaluate it, beta. If I'm saying this x approaches to 5, limit y approaches to 1 xy upon x plus y. Evaluate this. Another way, y approaches to 1, x approaches to 5, xy upon x plus y. See, now this point is other than 0, 0. So you need to check these two paths only. If you are getting the same value along these two paths, then limit exists. Otherwise, limit does not exist. Now find out, beta. Check it.
Does not exist.
Doesn't exist, beta. Who said this?
Limit exist.
Who is saying does not exist? May I know the name, beta?
Ma'am, Prakshit.
Sorry?
Prakshit, ma'am, 5027.
Prakshit. You mean, beta, limit
Yes.
does not exist, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And who was saying it is exist?
Ma'am
Shubham.
Shubham.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anuj, kindly mute yourself.
Ma'am, limit does not exist.
Does not exist, beta.
No.
Okay. Who is saying this does not exist? I'm sorry. Harleen Gaur.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it your first class?
Ma'am, third.
Probably second.
Ma'am,
Third.
third.
Okay. I'll talk to you beta after the class. Okay. So you are saying limit does not exist?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now tell me please how you have done this.
Ma'am, I have put it the value of 5, x as 5 and y as 1. So it became 5y upon 5 plus y, and the other equation became
See, you need to solve it, na? When you need to solve it, so let us, okay, you have done this, na?
yes, ma'am.
So when you are doing this limit x approaches to 5, so you are putting x is 5 over here.
5.
So it becomes 5y upon
5
5
plus 5.
plus y. Right? Now you need to put what? Limit y approaches to 1.
1.
Now put y is equal to 1. So what it would become? 5 into 1 is
5,
5 upon 5 plus 1 is
6.
6. Right? Now come to the another way. Now in this, first we are putting y approaches to 1.
Okay.
Okay? So when you are putting y approaches to 1, it become what? X upon x plus 1.
1.
You have solved this. Now what is left? Limit x approaches to 5. Now put x is equal to 5. It would become what?
5
Upon.
upon 6.
So what it
Okay.
says?
Uh, limit exists.
Limit exists, right? So somewhere you have done some mistake.
Okay.
Check it. Prakshit, is it right, beta? Did you get?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Probably कहीं calculation mistake किया होगा आपने भी. So limit exists and value is 5 by 6. So this is 5 by 6. Again, another path along x is equal to 5. So this is 5 by 6. In both way, you are getting the same value. So limit exists. Kindly click it, beta, hurry up. It's your homework. You need to check whether limit exists or not in this. In this, evaluate. And for this also check limit exists or not. Please note it down or click it. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, beta. Now, first we have done function, then we have limit, and then is continuity. Now, in function of single variable, when you say function is continuous, कब कहते हैं कि function हमारा continuous है? First is limit should exist. Limit x approaches to x naught f of x. This limit must exist. Right? That means left hand limit should is equal to right hand limit. If it's so, it means limit exists. Second thing, this limit x approaches to x naught f of x, whatever value you are getting for this limit, that is equal to f of x naught. And before that, one condition is more that this function is defined at this point. Function is defined at this point, f of x naught. Second is limit exists. Third, whatever limit you are getting and what is the value of this function, both should be same. Then only you say function is continuous. Otherwise, function is not continuous at that point. Is it right? ऐसे ही करते थे हम? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
ऐसे ही करते थे ना, लिमिट एग्जिस्ट होनी चाहिए, फंक्शन उस पॉइंट पे डिफाइंड होना चाहिए जिस पे आप लिमिट चेक कर रहे हो, एंड इफ बोथ आर इक्वल देन यू से दैट फंक्शन इज कंटिन्यूअस, अदरवाइज फंक्शन इज डिसकंटिन्यूअस. और डिसकंटिन्यूअस होता है तो आप क्या करते हो, एक छोटा सा सर्कल बना देते हैं कि देयर इज अ डिसकंटिन्यूटी एट दिस पॉइंट. राइट? सेम वी विल फॉलो इन फंक्शन ऑफ टू वेरिएबल. Same we follow with function of two variable. Let us take one example. X comma y approaches to x naught y naught. You need to check continuity at this point. Right? You need to check continuity of function at this point. So first is function must be defined at this point. Function is defined. Second, limit x comma y approaches to z x naught y naught f of x comma y exist. Right? And third, both should be same. X comma y approaches to x naught y naught f of x comma y, जो लिमिट की वैल्यू आई है, that must be equal to value of that function at that point. If all three conditions are satisfied, then you can say that function is continuous at this point. Right? And if you are having this domain, and you need to check whether function is continuous in this domain, so function should be continuous at each and every point. If it is continuous at each and every point, then we can say that function is continuous within this domain. Right? Now, a function defined on this is continuous if limit xy approaches to x naught y naught f of x comma y is equal to f of x naught y naught. First condition, function must be defined on this. Second condition, limit must exist. And third main condition, both should be same. Then you can say that function is continuous. If function is continuous, if it is continuous at every point of its domain. If function is continuous, if it is continuous at every point of its domain. Show that f of x comma y is equal to x square into y upon x square plus y square if x comma y not equal to 0, and if it is equal to 0, then value of function is 0. Is continuous at 0, 0. So you need to check, is it continuous or not? So first thing, function must be defined at point 0, 0. It is defined when x and y 0, 0, value function is 0. Second, you need to check this. Limit x approaches to 0, y approaches to 0, f of x comma y exist or not. Now you will tell me x approaches to 0, y approaches to 0, x square y upon x square plus y square. Check whether it exists or not. Do it right now. Check whether it exists or not. Take 1 minute, simplify it, and then let me know. You need to check whether this limit exists or does not exist.
Ma'am, it exists.
You have checked along every path, beta? Or
Ma'am,
you...
y equal to mx also.
Okay. Y is equal to mx. If I'm putting y is equal to mx, so it become limit x approaches to 0, or I'm taking y is equal to mx. So it become x square into mx upon x square plus m square into x square, right? When you will simplify it, x square mx upon x square 1 plus m square limit x approaches to 0. Is it right, beta? X square will be cancelled out with x square. And now you will be putting x approaches to 0. You will be putting x is equal to 0. The value would be what?
Ma'am, 0.
0 divided by something, that is 0. See, along one path, it means limit x approaches to 0 first, and then y approaches to 0. First path, you will be getting value 0. Second path, first limit y approaches to 0, then x approaches to 0, again you will be getting value 0. In the third case, you need to check for this, y is equal to mx. So you are getting 0. Now tell me, if I am putting y is equal to mx square, then what will happen? Okay,
Ma'am,
I'm doing
it
in this.
still will be 0 only.
I'm doing the same thing in this. Okay, y is equal to mx square, so it would become mx square, and it would become m square x power 4. Right? So you'll be taking x square outside, and inside it would become x square. Right? Any case, anytime, if you'll be taking any path, x cube, x4, x5, whatever you are taking, in denominator, you can take only x square outside, right? And this x square would be cancelled out with this. So because of this, numerator would become 0. Because of this, always it would become 0 and you will be left with 1 in any case. So along every path, you can observe from here, along every path, you will be getting value is 0. Is it right? So along every path, you are getting the same value. It means limit exists. And that value is 0. And you know that function at point origin is again 0. So can I say that function is continuous at point origin? Yes or no?
Yes.
Only one yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now ठीक है, at least 5-6 बच्चों को समझ आ गया ना कि this is how you can check function is continuous or not. You will try it at your own. Note this question and write each and every step in your notebook. And then if you are having any query or any question, then you can ask me in next class. I'll again discuss this question in next class, right? So that's all for today.
एक्सक्यूज मी मैम।
Yes, beta.
मैम जो मैम एक मिनट में बैक जाना,
Yeah, एक
बैक
minute.
करना मैम।
I'm sorry, just wait.
इसमें कोई
Continuity?
यस यस मैम। मुझे मेरी लास्ट क्वेश्चन ही।
This question, na?
यस यस मैम। मैम जब हमने y इज इक्वल टू mx पे मैम चेक किया था, तो हमारा मैम जीरो मैम मैम एक्स स्क्वायर अपॉन एक्स स्क्वायर जो मैम हमने कट किया था मैं वो जीरो तो आया था क्योंकि मैम लिमिट एक्स अप्रोचेस टू जीरो था।
Yes, आपने ये लिखा x square y is equal to mx upon
यस मैम।
x square
एक्स स्क्वायर
plus m square x square. Now this become single limit, na? Single variable limit.
यस मैम लिमिट।
So how we do it? We try maximum power, whatever common with numerator and denominator. So x square here and x square here. So I'm writing x square mx upon x square 1 plus m square limit x approaches to 0. ये तो cancel हो
यस
गया. Now you
यस
need
मैम।
to put x is equal to 0. So when you are putting here 0, it becomes 0
जीरो।
divided by something non-zero that would equal to 0,
ओके मैम।
right?
यस मैम।
Any other doubt? Any question? Okay.